Hello everyone, and welcome to this second attempt at an E3 Extravaganza show with Aesir and Shintai. I'm Aesir, with my good friend...
Hello.
I was delayed. So, just a, just a quick sort of backstory. I say second attempt. We recorded like an hour... Shintai recorded like an hour of footage. I didn't record anything. Where we talked about EA and briefly went over some Microsoft stuff. Nothing interesting. Here's our E3 thoughts. Ori looks cool. Sea of Solitude looks cool. The rest can fuck off. Microsoft conference. We briefly went over some stuff here.
Ori looks good.
Yeah. Basically what we're going to do in this video, we're going to talk just in general terms about the games that impressed us. It's very good that we started with EA because thankfully nothing there really really impressed us a lot.
No, yeah, EA's conference was hot garbage.
And my thoughts on Andrew Wilson's hair and eyebrows will, of course, be forgotten. Thankfully, because that was very awkward. Let's talk about Microsoft. Halo Infinite. Looks good.
Yeah, it looks like a good game.
Maybe make new mascots, which I think is what Microsoft is doing with this conference. Sort of, we bought up all your favorite studios. Isn't that wonderful, guys?
Yeah, so that's something I thought was really weird. They talked about buying Ninja Theory, which...
You must be stoked about that.
I mean, I know why you said that. I don't hate the company or anything. Heavenly Sword was mediocre. Enslaved had the feel of a good game, but was just also kind of eh. The Devil May Cry reboot, I don't want to get into it. But I did play some of Hellblade. I didn't finish it, but I really liked what I played.
Enslaved is the game they made with Andy Serkis, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I was always going to play that one.
It's okay.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, Halo Infinite, it looks like a Halo game. I'm very ambivalent towards that series, but I'm happy they're making another one because a lot of people like those games.
Still do. I was in high school and people were fucking going crazy over Halo around that time.
Really?
Yes.
See, I'm in Iceland, so Iceland is a Sony stronghold. And it's not, like, people don't really care about this stuff, but everybody owns a PlayStation. They're like, they only, I don't think they sold the Xbox 360 here. You know, they probably did.
Interesting.
But I have never met anybody in Iceland who owns an Xbox. Never. So...
Have you seen it sold in stores?
I've seen the new Xbox sold in stores, but like I see the writing on the wall. I look at what games are being sold, and like there's the big shelf is Sony, just PlayStation, and there's like a tiny little shelf with some Xbox games. Like the PlayStation 3 games are still getting better shelf space than the Xbox One games. So I think this is interesting.
No, yeah. So when I was in high school, especially, that was like Halo fever, and everyone was obsessed with it. I remember at the time, especially, like, I was like, man, Halo's like the most overrated shit ever. Everyone's always talking about it. No one can shut up about it. So I'm sure for you that's like, what, really? Like,
that actually is kind of weird.
No, yeah, it and just to give you a bit of context, high school for me was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's very similar. Well, I guess I'm a bit younger than you. High school for me was like 8 years ago. I spent most of my time in high school sitting alone watching Game of Thrones Season 1. And I didn't keep up with the series. I don't know what happened then. And that's my high school experience. It's very sad. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This is the game in the first attempt. This is the one we probably talked the most about, and we were the most excited about.
Yes, for obvious reasons.
Last time we talked, we famously went over the Souls series. Basically, our thoughts on this. It looks good. We're both very excited. What the hell is the grapple hook going to do to level design?
Amazing things, that's what.
That's what, baby. Sekiro. This is the E3 defined by sci-fi games and samurai games. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, I totally agree with you. But with Sekiro specifically, it almost felt as if they saw Team Ninja's Neo and they silently told themselves, challenge accepted.
Ooh, we're going to do this too, baby.
And I'm glad. Because, like, here's the thing, though. Because with other Souls games, every other Souls game, they were characters that you created yourself. This is very specifically, just like Neo, a determined character. This is not a self-insert character that you create yourself. Sekiro is the main character. He is very specifically the character that you're playing as, just like, what's his face? He looks like the Geralt from The Witcher from
Neo.
Yeah. So I find that very interesting. And this also seems to be, I'm not going to say more story driven. I'm going to say it looks a little more narrative driven than Souls games, because Souls games are not very narratively driven. They're basically like the Sherlock Holmes of storytelling, where
you have to just really dig into it.
Yeah, you gotta piece everything together yourself, and even then, not everything
My God,
makes total sense.
This game has such great storytelling. Look, I just looked at this piece of armor, and it told me this.
Yeah, that's not great storytelling. That's
great. That's great item description.
or if anything, that's actually great, like, environmental storytelling. Because a lot of the times, the placement of those items infers a lot about the item.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, it does seem like Sekiro's doing something different. It at least based on the trailer, it does seem to have, like, actual characters that you can, watch interact in cutscenes and stuff. Not to say that Souls games didn't have characters, but you know what I mean. That it looks like there's going to be some actual cutscenes that happen. So
it looks like they're integrating kind of a more standard AAA game design, which is not a bad thing. They're kind of integrating that in, which will be interesting.
I'm sure they'll do it in their own weird way.
Of course, they're not going to water their games down. But just briefly, Activision. We talked about this in the first attempt. We're not worried. Activision.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I mean,
FromSoft could have gone to Sony to just make whatever. They chose Activision. They're probably not going to give up control. Relax, everybody.
Yeah, chances are Activision, like, rolled up with, like, truckfuls of money and just told Miyazaki, please just do whatever you want so we can make even more money. And Miyazaki was like, hi.
Hi. Very good. Metro Exodus looks good. Looks like more Metro. People should try those games. Kingdom Hearts 3. I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game. I've watched a bit of a Let's Play. I know Sora. I know Riku. I know Kairi. I only know his name is Riku because you told me in the last time we recorded. And this is where we got. They're building a life raft, and there's a guy on the island in some cave. Sora and Riku are running on some palm trees, and then I think Sora fell into the ocean.
I don't remember that specifically.
No? Okay, he probably didn't then. Anyway, it's 3 games. No, it's like 1,000,000 games, but 3 mainline entries later. Sora, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck and Goofy are fighting some people in black coats, black robes.
No, yeah, that's Organization 13. They're from Kingdom Hearts 2.
What is this lore? And apparently, it's too late for Aqua. It's too late for Aqua. Mickey arrived too late. I'm gonna play this game, and I've never played. Like I said, I don't know anything about this. Boy, I hope this is newcomer friendly.
This will be glorious. Because I am like 100% certain that you will be completely lost.
You know what? I may actually just do a video on that. Just, what the hell is this? I don't know anything about this series. Sure, this will be fun to get into.
I mean, I'm certain that you'll enjoy the game as a game.
Oh yeah, it looks fun. It looks really fun. And the characters look charismatic.
Yeah,
and I enjoy Disney.
I'm sure you'll enjoy it, but the story is going to make you just go like, what the hell is this? Because like...
Organization 13? What the hell?
Because even though it says Kingdom Hearts 3, it's actually Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, Kingdom Hearts Recoded.
Dream Drop Distance?
Kingdom Hearts like 365 over 2 days, whatever the fuck. Like, it's
this is
bananas.
This is Tetsuya Nomura's baby, isn't it?
Yes.
This is his Metal Gear.
Yes.
Okay.
Except even more convoluted.
I'll believe that when I see it. I'm making a video on Metal Gear Solid 1, and already that game is very convoluted. This is going to be very interesting to get into. And we'll talk a bit about Kingdom Hearts 3 again. In this trailer, they were talking to Frozen and Tangled. I'm sorry, all I ever do with my power is hurt people. Olaf, are these some of your friends? I don't know. I'm not friends with any, like, ducks and dogs, or whatever he said.
So, an interesting thing. So, a user by the name of Super Butterbuns, she actually posted a picture of Tangled, the movie, and the character in the trailer, and put them side by side. And she was basically like, I'm in shock. Like, this, how can it look this good? Like, they look almost the same. And that was
I saw that.
And that was retweeted by one of the artists that worked on the film. And he said, I'm surprised too. I can't believe it looks so good. Video game, rendering technology has progressed so much. So I thought that was really cool.
I think so too, but I think the animator was being generous. You look at the hair in the game, it's just one solid block. And like if you compare them in motion, like I think it looks really good, don't get me wrong. I think it looks very good and very accurate. But it's very obviously not that.
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't look like 1-to-1, but it's close.
I think this is very aesthetically pleasing. I can definitely say that. And you know what? This game kind of looks like the high-end CGI cutscenes of the 6th generation.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
All right. We'll talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 again twice.
No, I don't think we need to.
You know what? Something about Kingdom Hearts 3. This game has been in development for like 4 years, right?
I don't know when exactly it started development, but it fucking felt like it.
Stop making the game and just release it already. It feels like they're just cramming in the worlds. We don't need 90 worlds. Give us 2. I think fans would be very happy.
No, they would not. Fans would be up in arms. You know how long fans have been waiting to finally play a Toy Story world? Like,
that's never been done before.
No, that is new for Kingdom Hearts 3, And personally, I'm excited for that. Like
All
that
right.
that looks awesome.
You know, I played a Toy Story game on the PlayStation 1. Really good. From memory. Probably unplayable today.
Probably is.
Tales of
But
Tales of Vesperia. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 looks interesting. I'll
yeah,
probably make a video on it as a newcomer.
I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. You go. I don't know anything about the Tales series. This is your baby.
This is definitely my baby. So, Tales of Vesperia. The reason why this is a big deal is because originally they released Tales of Vesperia on the Xbox 360, and it was good.
Okay.
Big butt though, huge butt.
This isn't the one that everything was happening like in reality or something like that. We talked about one of those games.
Oh, wait, what? What? What are you talking about?
When I came on your podcast, we talked about it doesn't matter. It isn't this one. We talked about some game which was like it was a role playing game, but big
Oh,
twist. It's
I think you're thinking of Star Ocean.
yeah, that probably fits the bill.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
big
So
but about this game, I'm very sorry.
the big but about this game is that it was actually re-released on the PS3 with extra content only in Japan.
Mm.
And when I say extra content, I don't mean like, oh, they threw in a new move. Oh, they put in an extra item. No, 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 no.
Oh, the girl is wearing a cat schoolgirl outfit. You don't mean
No,
that?
they added an entirely new character. A
Oof.
major character in the story now joins the party, which is huge. Because like especially the nature of the relationship between the main character and that other character, it's like whoa, it would it's weird that they would be that he would join the party permanently. There's added story content. There's new quests, so it's not just a simple like oh, just a few things here and there. Like there's substantial content in the game that we missed out on. So on top of this definitive edition being like higher resolution, higher frame rate, because that was one of the big problems with Tales of Vesperia is that it ran at 30 frames per second and it just kind of felt slow. The fact that it's now going to run faster is, it's going to be a big deal. But on top of those like typical definitive edition type of additions, it's also going to have all of this extra content that we were not privy to for the longest time.
Okay.
And as far as like this game's standing within the series, like this is considered by fans to be like one of the best games in the series. So that's another reason why this is a big deal. Like, even people who are not like big JRPG fans like this game. This is the game in the series that for a lot of people, it got them into the series, and even for some people, got them into RPGs in general. So this is a game that for a lot of people holds a special place in their hearts. So that's why this definitive edition is such a big deal.
Okay. See, I don't know anything about the Tales series. I saw this trailer and I thought, Xbox is trying to court this niche JRPG market. This is actually a big thing.
It's a bigger deal than you might think, yeah.
Okay. That's cool. It's great that you guys are getting this.
Yeah, I'm very happy because, while it's not like my personal favorite in the series, it is one of my favorites. Like, I do think this is one of the better games in the series, and I have been wanting to see what this, like, content that I've missed out on for a long time now. I think it's been, like, literally 10 years.
Okay. Oh, and this isn't like Final Fantasy where everything is a new world. This is like an ongoing series.
No, it's exactly like Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every single game is a new world, new characters, but there are parallels. Like every Final Fantasy game has a potion. Well, every Tales game has gels. So yeah, apple gels heal your HP, and then you have like purple gels, and that heal your your magic points. Things like that.
Okay, so like Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy has like the birds. I made a long video on a Final Fantasy game. I don't remember what they're called. Cuckoos?
Oh, chocobos.
Chocobos. Final Fantasy has those. This is kind of like that, where the elements are always kind of reintroduced.
Yeah, so... Yeah, but yeah, that's exactly it. Like, there isn't like a mascot animal like that is in the Tales series. But yeah, it's a similar type of deal. There are certain games that are canonically tied to each other, but it's usually like Tales of Symphonia is a prequel to Tales of Fantasia by like 1,000 years.
Okay.
So like and there are certain games that are like direct sequels to each other, like Tales of Xillia and Tales of Xillia 2. But that's about it.
Okay. Is the Tales series, you can just pick up any one of them, with some exceptions. Like, you could pick up a Tales game and just have a time with it. You don't need to know everything.
Right. Like Tales of Vesperia, for example, you don't need to know a single thing about the Tales series. You could just pick it up and start playing it.
Okay. That's cool.
Or the latest entry in the series, Tales of Berseria. Even though Berseria is similarly a prequel to another game, you don't need to know that in order to enjoy it, because again, it's similarly like hundreds or thousands of years or something crazy like that. So like, even when the games are tied to each other in weird ways like that, they still manage to stand on their own.
Okay. So it's basically just like, there's one planet which shares the same name. It's like, this is the extent to its, because you said 100,000 years. What the hell could they possibly, like, why not just make a new world?
Well, with Symphonia specifically, the reason they made it a prequel to Fantasia was it was like, I think it was like the 10-year anniversary or something like that. So it was specifically meant to be an homage.
Okay.
With
cool.
Tales of Berseria, however, the reason it was a prequel to Zestiria is that a lot of what happened when you play through Zestiria, a lot of like one of the main themes of the game is like uncovering history, and Berseria lets you see a lot of that stuff like firsthand.
Okay.
And it actually, I actually don't like Zestiria. It's like one of my least favorite games in the series. Berseria was so good, it actually made Zestiria better because it added more to the world building and the story.
All right.
But I think we've spent way too much time on this.
Yeah, I believe there's another game in the Xbox showcase you'd rather talk about. But before we do, Battletoads.
Battletoads.
Battletoads. For whom is this game being made?
I don't know, because they literally only said that they're making it, and we don't know anything about it.
The Battletoads games were not good. They were just like crushingly difficult games which people kind of fondly remember. You know what?
The most enjoyment I ever had with Battletoads was watching the Game Center CX episode on it.
This could be... You make this like a Super Meat Boy or like a Cuphead, where you make it like it is difficult focused, but it's actually a good game too.
Throwing that shade.
I haven't played the original Battletoads, but I look at that. It looks like it's very just rogue memorization of obstacles and stuff like that. That's not good. That's boring. I mean, make a good kind of difficult game out of this. I imagine this could be like a series, like a small little series, which people like.
Maybe because here's the thing, like one of the things about Battletoads, like, yeah, it's like, it had that really hardcore platforming stuff, but it was also a beat 'em up. So maybe they might swerve and make it more focused on the beat 'em up action.
Well, maybe.
I would be down for that.
They could just take the Platinum TMNT game, reskin it, I reckon.
Please don't.
Was that a good one?
Terrible.
Oh!
Wait
a minute. That game sucked, but it was made by Platinum. The Platinum gods.
Yeah. That game was not good.
Was that the B team?
I would have to imagine.
Okay.
I think it was made by the same team that made the Legend of Korra game, which was also... I mean, the Korra game was at least better than the TMNT game.
Okay.
But the Korra game was not that good.
Battletoads, cool. It's a good move because it's kind of, hey, we're Xbox. We're kind of branching out. We're not just, people say Xbox won the last generation. I very much disagree with that because I think Xbox has been scrambling for an identity ever since Sony got the momentum this generation. This is a good move. Just kind of create, broaden your horizons a bit. Cater to more audiences. Make this game. It's a good move. There's a little game here called Cyberpunk 2077. Have you heard about this?
Sure have. I've known about it for a while now.
Yeah, it's weird. Before we get into this, I think this was a weird way to end your E3 showing. I get why you do it. Everybody's excited for this game, obviously, but this is a multiplat game. It's just weird. I think it's weird to show this. What are your thoughts on this? Are you a big CD Projekt Red guy?
Not really. I played some of Witcher 3, and I don't know, I might get hated on what I'm about to say, but while it looked gorgeous and the writing did seem pretty good, I was not a fan of the combat, so I put it down.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat where I played a bit of it and then I put it down. I put it down because I had a very small TV screen and the game looked too detailed and it like you needed to see too much stuff for me to be able to play it. And I've gotten a better screen since, haven't played it again, but like people lost their minds over that game. I think I said this on Twitter at some point, or very recently, the best thing about that game is the dialogue system. And not because it has like branching choices or anything, but because you remember when Mass Effect Andromeda launched, like it had terrible like character animation. They were just, everybody looked like they were just wrong.
Yes.
Okay, so
terrible.
So to the uninitiated who are listening, the way big games with like hours and like with tens of hours of dialogue, the way they operate is they just have programs which read the words being said. They just look at the sound files and they match the motion of the lips and to what's being said. That's why in the last generation, like you have games like the Bethesda games, especially, you can see this. The characters just stand there still and they just move their lips, kind of when they speak. That's how those games kind of just operate.
Yeah, they use an algorithm.
Yeah, they use an algorithm to make the actors in the game move. The Witcher 3 has the best algorithm of any game ever made by a metric mile.
Yes. I don't even know if it's actually an algorithm or if it's all handcrafted.
It's that good.
Like, it looks handcrafted to me.
The characters, they interact with the world. Like Gerald will look at a character at specific lines, at specific moments. So there's probably some handmade stuff in that, but it is, that in and of itself is an achievement in video game making.
I specifically remember, like, you'd be talking to a character, and when they were talking about something that made them uncomfortable, you could see it visibly on them where they'll look down and they'll, you could see it in their body language. And it's like,
yeah, and
holy shit.
The best we had gotten before that was like L.A. Noire, where the characters would go like, "Sir, did you kill your wife?" And the guy was like, "No." And he would just kind of look stilted like, "Oh." And he would just kind of scratch his stomach or something. And the guy would, "Where were you last night?" And he was like, oh, I was, I was at home. And then he just looks to the sides.
I think that game was a bit ahead of its time. It was trying to do something.
Oh my God, yes.
It was trying to do something too advanced and the hardware just could not handle it. And the Uncanny Valley, ooh, that game has not aged well.
I really enjoy, like, there are GIFs coming out of that game where characters like just... I'll put this in when I launch this with the video. I'll probably just put in, like, the GIF I'm talking about. There's, like, a character, like, where were you? Like, did you see the murder? No. And then the character's face just freezes. He's just sweating bullets. It's the most hilarious thing in the world. But back to Cyberpunk. I'm interested in seeing what they do with that system again, because I want to see that in motion.
Yeah, and it's apparently going to be a first-person shooter.
Yeah, that's fine. I think people are upset about that because it's different from The Witcher. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not like we've had other great cyberpunk science fiction first-person shooters before, like Deus Ex. Fucking idiots.
I immediately went to, what is he? Is he talking about Snatcher, the obscure Konami game on like the 3DO or something? No, Deus Ex, of course. System Shock. A lot of wonderful
System
games.
Shock.
A lot of wonderful Looking Glass games, and I wonder.
Yeah, I think people complaining about the first person thing are like, they're being ridiculous. I'm sure this game's gonna kick ass. CD Projekt Red are good people. Like they have an eye for detail. I'm sure this game's gonna be really cool. Yeah, I think it's gonna be the Shadowrun that people have been waiting for.
The Shadowrun people. I don't know Shadowrun, so okay. I can't agree with you that it will be the Shadowrun. That's if that's your takeaway from this video, people, and it isn't, you can't be angry at me.
I said it. Be angry at me.
No, it looks. It's not my thing, but it looks good. I'm interested in seeing it.
I think it will be my thing. I mean, I would need to see more footage. Like I would need to see like gameplay, and I need for them to tell me like, if it's gonna have like RPG elements, is it going to be an exploration type of game? Like, I need more info, but yeah. I think it will be my kind of game.
Yeah. And I say I didn't like The Witcher 3. I did not like it. Like, I don't have bad will towards CD Projekt Red. So, I'm hopeful about this one. There wasn't anything else in the Xbox One conference, was there? I think we can just move on to Bethesda, right?
No, there was one more thing.
What was there?
It was
Captain Spirit. Let's talk about Captain Spirit.
Screw you. Devil May Cry 5. I have been waiting for Devil May Cry 5 for so long now. And that fucking reboot threw things all out of whack, making me go like, well, we're never getting Devil May Cry 5 now. But it happened. I need to ask, like, has this ever happened before where a series got rebooted and then went back to the original series? Has it ever happened before?
I'm hoping it happens with the Ratchet and Clank series, but...
Wait, it happened with Prince of Persia. They made the Prince of Persia reboot, and then they made Forgotten Sands, which is a sequel to Sands of Time, but a prequel to Warrior Within.
So there is clearly historic precedent for this, but what did you think of this? You're a Devil May Cry guy.
I am die-hard fan. So my immediate reaction was that of bafflement. Like I was like, what am I looking at? Because it was so realistic. And at first it was a bit off-putting because I was not used to that. And the other games had a bit more of like a goofier, not goofy, a bit more of a cartoonish,
hyper-realistic kind of,
slightly anime kind of aesthetic.
Yeah. Well,
so
they
for
were
it to
on,
go like completely realistic was like strange.
but were they designed to have? Wasn't that just a technological constraint that they were kind of anime looking?
It's hard to say. Like it could be like the intention was to make it realistic, but the hardware limitations may like force them to do it that way. I don't know. But after a while, I've seen the trailer like too many times now. So, I mean, I'm used to how it looks now, and now I dig it, and now I'm like, okay, I'm all in because I think the idea behind it is basically, hey, Devil May Cry 4, that shit was a while ago. Things have changed. The entire industry has changed. It makes sense that the series would grow up with the industry, and I think the art style makes sense.
You don't think DMC from Ninja Theory was the series growing up with the industry?
I mean, that game is extremely juvenile, so no.
That was very sort of. It very much characterizes that generation. Just this is made for 13-year-olds, but no, this looks good.
I think yeah, like
they trot out Itsuno. His name.
They did. They brought him out on stage, and he looked really happy and excited to be there. Just finally announced that they're releasing Devil May Cry 5 because apparently they've been working on this game for 4 years.
Yeah, they were going to show it on Sony's stage last year, weren't they?
I think they were, and they didn't for whatever reason.
Because they needed to show Spider-Man again.
We'll get into that later.
Weird E3. But yeah, Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, so that the main character seems to be Nero again from Devil May Cry 4, but instead of his Devil Bringer arm, he has a robot arm because someone, presumably, maybe, possibly Virgil, cut it off. And now he's hanging out with this chick, Nico, and she's...
Is she a new character?
Yes.
Okay.
She's a new character, and she looks oddly realistic, like even more so, like when every time I saw her, I was just like, that just looks like a real person. It's weird. Like she has like flaws, like a normal person would. Like her teeth are like a little too big, but not too big. Like it's weird. But anyways, I'm super excited. This game looks like it's going to be awesome. Dante is still in it. He showed up at the end, and they did.
That was him.
Yeah, that was him.
That guy looked weird.
He's old now.
Really?
We're all old now.
I didn't play the fourth one.
He had shown that he had aged in the fourth one, not like considerably, but he had like a bit of a stubble, on his chin. So it did show like, yeah, he's getting older.
Okay.
But they did confirm that the game's going to have 3 playable characters.
Ooh.
So, obviously Nero, obviously Dante. The third character, maybe Virgil, maybe a new character. I don't know. But I'm excited.
I hear that. When I saw this, I thought, because I don't know Nero. He's from 4.
Yes.
I saw this trailer and I thought immediately to Metal Gear Solid 5 because it's not DMC Devil May Cry 5, it's Devil May Cry V. And the guy has a mechanical arm, and I thought, it's like Metal Gear Solid 5.
It's Venom Dante.
V has come to Venom Dante. V has come to. They should do that. They should. You know what they should do? The third playable character. Bring in the Ninja Theory Dante. Can I ask you a question? Because I've been kind of low-key teasing you about this game never being revealed on Twitter for the past year since we started talking together. you start Devil May Cry 5. There's a cutscene. You play as Nero, and then Dante shows up, and you play as Dante, and it's like the opening hour, and Virgil is there, and Mundus is there, and it's just blowing up. But then piece of shit, goth, jackass Dante shows up, and both Nero and the old Dante die. Plot twist: it's DMC2. How does Shintai react?
The series is dead to me. Dead.
And it's Suno.
I wouldn't even be Shintai anymore. I would rename all of my handles. Just call it Devil May Cry is dead.
It's bloody feminist propaganda at this point. There's like a video of Itsuno pops up on screen and goes, "Hello, I really enjoy Ninja Theory game, and now I remake old Devil May Cry with new Dante, better Dante." That video pops up on screen as well.
Dude, just stop. Are you trying to murder me?
It would be. No, look, I understand where you're coming from. My favorite series has been relegated to pachinko machines. So maybe I'm just trying to express my hurt.
Dude,
No,
I know exactly how you feel because I'm also a Silent Hill fan.
I'm talking about Metal Gear.
I know you're talking about Metal Gear. I'm also a Metal Gear fan.
You can't be both. You can't be a fan of three things. No, this looks really promising.
It does. It really, really does. I'm really excited for it, and this is my most anticipated game. This out of all the announcements, Devil May Cry 5 is like my number one favorite announcement.
All right. That's Xbox. From a 0 to a 10, what do you want to rate this showcase?
I'm going to give them an 8 because...
You're going to give them an 8. You're setting the tone for the rest of the conferences as well.
And the reason I'm giving them an 8 is because it was a great show, and it was a great conference, and they showed a lot of cool stuff. But here's the biggest thing. They did not do anything to sell me on their console.
No. See, I agree with you there. I think they did a lot of good things. But I think the best things from this showcase, this could have just as well been... This looks like Sony we're just gonna forward the job of showing new titles to Xbox. You'll just buy them on our console. But I agree with you. I think this is a solid 8.
Yeah, it was... Now, if this was if they had somehow sold me on the console as well, then it would have been like a fucking 10.
Yeah.
Right? But that aside, as its own conference, just like ignoring that, it was really good. Lots of really cool reveals, cool trailers. It was there were some clunkers like Sea of Thieves. I don't care about that. But not everything is a home run. But 8 out of 10. But look what we got from them, right? Sekiro, Devil May Cry 5, Cyberpunk,
Captain Spirit.
We got some really cool stuff from them. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say 8 out of 10. And before we go to Bethesda, this is just kind of an edit point. I'm gonna go and pee, and I suggest you kind of. I've been drinking water this whole time. I'll be back in like 1 minute.
All right. I'll just keep recording. Whatever. Doesn't matter. You can just edit it out.
The Bethesda conference was very liked by many. I hope this doesn't come off as jarring. We did a little edit break there. Bethesda, Rage 2. What were your thoughts?
It basically looked like they took the engine for Doom and they decided to make like an open world shooter out of it, and I'm okay with that.
Did you play the original Rage?
No, because I heard it was not very good.
Yeah, I don't have any thoughts on this game. Very ambivalent. I don't think it looks very good. I think it looks generic.
Yeah, I'm not like excited to play it or anything, but I will say that like since it is running on that engine and Doom is so good.
Oh yeah. Let's just Rage 2, whatever. Doom Eternal.
Which should have been called Eternal Doom.
Yeah.
Still looks awesome.
Still looks awesome. This is a new game. This is not an extension.
No, yeah, this
Expansion.
is a sequel.
Okay. That makes me more interested in this. I could live without another Doom. But this is cool.
Well, I really enjoyed the Doom reboot. I think it was a really good game, and all I really would want from a sequel is more of the same, but bigger and more guns. And as long as they give me that, I'm happy.
And I think you're going to get that. Wolfenstein 2 is not listed in our games. Did you... No, they had something Wolfenstein, didn't they?
Yeah, it was called Youngblood.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Me neither. I played the New Order, and I thought it was kind of a mess.
Yeah?
I mean, a lot of people really, really liked it, and I can see where they're coming from. But me personally, I mean, I thought the stealth was garbage. The shooting itself felt good, but the game felt at odds with itself. Like, on one hand, it wanted to be like an action-packed shooter, but you're also like super squishy, and it makes it difficult to actually like enjoy the firefights because you're just like playing super cautiously all the time.
Yeah.
Not only that, but like the story was like all over the fucking place. Like tonally, the tone of the game was like jarring.
You're in like a mech in a concentration camp.
Yeah, it's so fucking ridiculous.
It does look very ridiculous.
Yeah, so a lot of people really liked the writing in that game, and I do think some stuff was well written. Like, I think all of the inner monologues of BJ were actually like really interesting and really well done. But it's just the juxtaposition of certain things, just like it didn't mesh well, and I felt that detracted from the game. I felt like it needed to either like shit or get off the pot. Like it needed to commit more to one or the other, like being more of a goofy satire or being more of a serious game. I think I would have preferred, because here's the thing, right? So the game tries to frame a lot of the stuff that happens as deadly serious. But some of the stuff that'd be happening is patently absurd. So like at the very, very start of the game, you are fighting like these robot dogs. That's fucking...
Yeah, but it's framed kind of like Normandy or something.
Yeah, it's treated like really deadly serious. But it's like robot dogs. Killer robot dogs with jagged teeth. It's like, what?
Mm.
Yeah, it was weird. So I didn't play the sequel because I was just like, man, I don't care. They announced one now with you play as BJ's twin daughters. That's going to be the new game. I don't fucking care.
It's kind of just whatever. But to the people who enjoyed the new games, very happy for you.
Yeah, and don't let me being a sourpuss take away from your enjoyment. If you dug the games, cool for you, just not for me.
The next segment of the Bethesda conference, aptly named Todd Unleashed. He killed all the memes.
he fucking like rose from the ashes of the memes and became a Chad.
Here's the thing about Todd Howard. He is a walking meme machine. I've said this in private about men like Donald Trump and like Alex Jones. Like, say what you want about them politically. They are a very, very lucrative source of memes.
Yeah.
Todd Howard is that. And I'm okay with that. Like, when he walked on stage, Pete Hines is like, I want to give the stage to Todd Howard. And he walks on the stage, he's like wearing his jeans and his brown, cool leather jacket. And there's like lighting in the background, so he looks like he has a halo around his head. It's just like this guy. And then he's like, shakes hands with Pete Hines. And he's like, hello, everyone, you know, when E3 is young. And then he grows up and he's telling these stories. He knows what he is. He's embracing it. I love seeing that guy. I hated Fallout 76. I think this was the worst showcase.
Oh, okay.
But see, I need to explain, and for me to explain, let's just go into Fallout 76 because I think EA was the worst showcase by far.
Yes.
I think this is the worst showcase because I think it's the most manipulative, and I'll get into why after we talk about Fallout 76. 4 times bigger than Fallout 4. Always online. No NPCs outside of the robots. These are some of the rumors that are coming out since. Some of the things Todd Howard has said since this game was revealed. This game is to me, I look at this from sort of I'm looking at this, why would they make this game? And I think Pete Hines, the CEO of Cinemax or Bethesda, I don't know precisely what his job is. I think he looks at Take-Two, he looks at Grand Theft Auto Online, and he thinks, wow, Take-Two makes $1 billion a year from microtransactions in that game alone. Why don't we make $1 billion every year? And he talks to Todd Howard, can you make a game that will just live for 10 years and people will just keep playing it? And Todd Howard makes this game, and people were very impressed with the Starfield reveal and the Elder Scrolls 6 reveal. I take those reveals to be... See, this is where I get into I think this is a manipulative showcase. I don't think anybody will really enjoy Fallout 76 in the form it will launch, and I think they preemptively showcased not just like Starfield, but also Elder Scrolls 6 as a sign of like, because when people get their hands on Fallout 76, they'll now think, I hate this, but at least they're making Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. Because I don't think Bethesda, they know why people play their games? Like, Todd Howard is apparently just the nicest guy in the world. And even, who was the guy who worked with him on the old Elder Scrolls games?
I have no idea.
I don't remember his name, but he's like a great dungeon master in D&D, and he had like some things to say about how Morrowind changed everything. He was talking about like Todd Howard is more, he would rather direct your experience, and he would like put towns closer together, and it loses an element of reality, and they start to try to show you way too much. The guy was saying that, but he made very clear like, but Todd Howard is such a wonderful man. I really love him. He's my brother. He went over this, and it's like, my God, Todd Howard must be the nicest guy in the world to work for. But does he actually know what makes his games good? Now, I'm going to let you talk a bit about this, but, like, because there's something to the idea of a multiplayer mode for these games, inviting your friends to play with you. I would have loved to see that, but always online, and there are always going to be players in the world. See, that's the thing where I go, you made Morrowind one of the all-time great video games. where everything worked perfectly and integrated well to like a singular experience, what the hell are you doing? But I'm gonna let you share your thoughts on this.
Interestingly, Bethesda's conference was one of my favorites.
Hmm?
For one, I
Okay.
thought Todd was awesome. Like, I thought he was.
Todd was the best thing about that, I think.
Todd was fun. He was funny. He put on a great show. He was charismatic. You know,
Put on a great jacket.
awesome jacket. I liked the reveal of Doom Eternal. I'm not personally interested in Fallout 76. I don't really care, but I am interested in Starfield, and I am interested in Elder Scrolls 6. I do kind of see what you're saying of like, people will play Fallout 76 and be like, oh, this sucks, but at least, they're working on these other two games. And I could see that being manipulative, but since I'm not even interested in Fallout 76, I don't care.
Yeah, it's I'm saying like it's preemptive damage control, but also like I'm not bitter or anything. I didn't play Fallout 4 or like
Me neither.
I've barely played any Fallout game. Like I'm not bitter at all. I'm just not very eager to be hyped about this yet.
That's fair.
And I think people give Bethesda a lot of slack because of Todd Howard and because they love him. But I think that was really fun where he went on stage and he was like, "Hey guys, so sometimes our games launch kind of buggy, and sometimes apparently it doesn't just work." I like that he can poke fun at himself. I think that's very nice of him.
I thought it was funny with the Skyrim Very Special Edition.
Yeah, but I think because they actually made it, you don't need to do that. Just
And they
do
released
the
it
joke.
for free.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And didn't he have like an Etch-a-Sketch? Was that a meme somebody made where he had like an Etch-a-Sketch of the Elder Scrolls?
I don't remember
Skyrim.
the Etch-a-Sketch.
Okay, so that was probably just a meme somebody made. And one thing he did, this goes into what I said, where he killed all the memes. Sorry, had to do it. Todd Howard had to do it to him. He had to. Yeah, so Fallout 76, is there anything more to say about that?
Nah, not really. I don't really care about that game, and I don't think there's much else to say about the conference, honestly.
No. I think there is, like, I think there will definitely be a market for Fallout 76. I think a lot of people will love it. But it's, I guess I am a bit bitter because I feel like the games they're making are becoming less and less special to me, which is very selfish. But, whatever. Make it or don't make it. None of this matters. Starfield, teaser, Elder Scrolls teaser. What would you rate this conference?
7.
You would give it a 7.
Yes, and the reason is because Todd Howard was awesome.
Okay.
I'm hyped for Doom Eternal. And even though we only got teasers for Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, I am interested in those games, so I'm glad that they acknowledged their existence.
Okay.
And it was just a fun conference. I just enjoyed watching it. And that bumps it up.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say 7 too. You flipped me. I do think it is kind of. I was very disappointed, I guess, but it was very substantial now that I think of it. Like Todd Howard went on stage and he was like, "Okay, all those games that were leaked. Get that out of the stage right away. Let's talk about Fallout for like 30 minutes." And I appreciate that. I like that it was substantial. I didn't love it, but I'll concede the 7.
Hold on, someone is calling me. I will be right back.
What is this? This is very unprofessional. Hello, everyone. This is just me, Aesir. While Shintai is on the phone, I'm gonna go over my Twitter feed. Here are some trends for me. Icelandic. Geothermal. Star Wars entries. What's that? No! Stan Lee! Elder abuse. Jesus Christ. Leave the... this isn't fun. This isn't something you put into a... something you put in a fun podcast. Hashtag Trump sizes people up. That's probably about Robert De Niro. I get a lot of American politics in my Twitter feed. Why do I... And I also get like Korean and Japanese trends. That's not fun. Why do I have just here? Why don't I just go talk you through my tweets? This is nothing. This is nothing. Ooh, Hideo Kojima tweeted. Very cool. We'll talk a bit about him later.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright. That was very unprofessional, but I don't have anything to say.
Wait, what was unprofessional?
No, I'm joking. I went and took a pee break. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend. I'm joking.
No. Not gonna offend me.
Square Enix conference. This was terrible. It was 30 minutes long. It was like 30 minutes long. They replayed the same Kingdom Hearts trailer from the Xbox showcase. What are you doing? They didn't show anything from Final Fantasy VII. What's going on?
I don't know, man. Are we even gonna get the remake? Like,
see, I briefly touched on... We talked about Tetsuya Nomura earlier. I think Square should take him off the Final Fantasy VII remake and get somebody else to direct it. Because I in my studying of Final Fantasy VII, for my video I made on that, I learned something very weird.
Okay.
Tetsuya Nomura was not the creative force behind that game in any way, shape, or form. He was he was like one of the top people, but like that was Sakaguchi. Like that was the original guy, and he his mother died and all that. But I think Tetsuya Nomura, I think his track record for releasing games is so terrible that this isn't even a case of, well, Kingdom Hearts 3, take him off and get a different guy. No, that's his baby. Final Fantasy VII is not his baby.
No, absolutely not.
Get somebody who can actually deliver the game to make it. Maybe get Sakaguchi again.
I don't know if he'd agree to that.
No, he wouldn't. But I would be interested in seeing if they got him for like a small Final Fantasy game again. I would be interested in seeing what he'd do. I'd be interested in seeing what a new director would do with the Square IPs.
Hell, get fucking Tabata to do it.
Get Tabata to do it.
People complain about Final Fantasy 15, but fucking Nomura started 15 and then gave up on it, and Tabata had to basically well, shit, let me clean up this mess and do what I can.
He had to salvage that entire thing, didn't he?
Yeah, and with that in mind, he fucking did it. Whether you like the game or not, he fucking took the unfinished scraps that Nomura had, and he made something coherent out of it. So fucking give the guy a medal for that. Huh. I'm sure he could do much better with FF7. Need I remind people, he was the one that made Crisis Core. I don't know about you, but I really like Crisis Core. I think it's a good game.
The only Final Fantasy thing I've ever played is Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, really? That's the only Final Fantasy game you've ever played?
I get comments to this day about that video where people go, "Hey man, I really appreciate it. Like this was a great video. What do you think about like Crisis Core?" And like I feel like I'm sort of I may have missold myself in the video. I don't remember, but I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I'll play them if they're like I'll play them if they come out. I'm not against them, but
you're really more a fan of 7 specifically.
Yeah, like because I played that one. I like if I played 6, from what I hear, that game is a masterpiece, and I'm sure if I played it, I would really like it. But I guess I'm ambivalent towards it, but I know a lot about it because I've researched it. And there's something about the new, specifically Final Fantasy games, and I don't know if this is. I think this has to do with Nomura specifically. His characters always look like they're girls wearing boy clothes. Like, you look at Cloud from the original game, he doesn't really, like, he cross-dresses, of course, but he isn't, like, he became, like, when you look at the Advent Children posters, like, he's, like, very skinny and he's holding his, like, Buster Sword and he's very dowered. Yeah, and he's become sort of like, ooh, I'm goth, edgy, effeminate. He wasn't like that in the game.
No,
he was very, upbeat and kind of...
That's one of the biggest problems with that piece of shit Advent Children movie where, Cloud is he's just moping throughout the movie because he's sad about Eris's death, which makes no fucking sense because he already had a moment in the game where he got over it.
The game was about him getting over it. This is a weird.
That movie sucked. The only reason you should watch that movie is to like watch the fight scenes. Otherwise, there's no reason to watch that movie.
I've seen the fight scene with Sephiroth, and they got Tim Daly from Superman to voice him. I think he did a really good job. Get him back in the remake, absolutely.
I agree.
I'd probably play it in Japanese, but like, good to see you, Cloud. Really good voice for that.
He also voiced Sephiroth in Crisis Core, and he did really well.
Oh, so he has like a legacy with that character. That means they probably will bring him back. Yes.
No, yeah, he fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Well, that's if we get this fucking FS7 remake.
Yeah. Fire Nomura or don't.
I will say. I will say.
Yeah.
Since you haven't really played any other Final Fantasy games, try 9.
9.
Yes.
Okay.
Should
I go in blind or should I know something about it?
Just go in blind.
Okay.
It is one of my personal favorites in the series. If you enjoyed 7, I don't see why you wouldn't also enjoy 9.
All right. I'll check it out.
It's on Steam.
How long is it? It's like a 2-hour game you can just go through in one sitting, right?
You wish. It's probably about as long as 7. Especially if you want to 100% it. It's about the same length.
Okay. I'll check it out.
So yeah, I think the only other notable thing about the Square Enix conference was Platinum announced a new game called Babylon's Fall, but it was more of like a concept trailer. Like there was no gameplay and barely even any like CG footage. So we have no idea what this game is actually going to be like. So,
do you want to speculate for 10 minutes or do you want to move on to Ubisoft?
What is there to speculate about? It's probably just going to be a medieval, character action game.
Yeah, probably.
It's probably going to be
Square
really
Enix.
good.
Square Enix, terrible conference.
0 out of 10.
0 out of 10. Because you shouldn't do like 29 minutes. And at least show something. Don't show things we've already seen. Ubisoft conference. You didn't watch this one?
No, I did not.
Okay, this is the lightning round. They started out really weird. There was people dressed in like furry costumes. Just, what the hell? people from France, man. Beyond Good and Evil 2. I recently played the first Beyond Good and Evil. I remembered it being really good. It isn't. It's very arcade. Like it. You remember those stealth segments where
I have
you have
not played Beyond Good and Evil.
No, but I'm talking just in general from that era.
Okay.
You have stealth where you have to sort of think about the enemy AI and location, and you sort of have to maneuver in a dynamically changing puzzle. This is not that. There is one solution, and you just need to time it. No complexity. I like the world. I like the characters. I like everything, but the game is good. I'm very happy they're making this, because when people go back to the original, they'll say, "Oh, well, it wasn't that good, but it became better. Like it got more. There became more to this." I was under the assumption this was a prequel from the original trailer, but apparently it's not. Excited to see this. Joseph Gordon-Levitt appeared on stage, and there's a program he has with some studio he owns, where you can submit art you design to them, and it might appear in the Beyond Good and Evil 2 game as like graffiti and stuff like that. I saw a tweet from somebody, I think it was Shammy or somebody, where he went, this is a universe that has anthropomorphic animals, and you're asking people anonymously to send anthropomorphic fan art to a mature rated video game. This is not going to go well. And the only other thing from Ubisoft is something called Transference, where Elijah Wood and other guys appeared like, "Oh, we really like the interactivity of video games, and we're going to combine movies and video games." I don't know anything about this, but you need to stop trying to do this. Like, the industry blanket needs to stop trying to combine, like, here's a cutscene we filmed outside, like, in our attic, and here you play a game, and now you get to watch another cutscene I filmed while I was on the toilet. Stop doing this. Ubisoft, it's
Wait,
a Ubisoft conference.
It's an FMV game?
No, I think it's like you play a video game, you play the game, and then you go online, and it's a multiple series experience, just multiple genre experience. It's just, get this out of here. This didn't impress me 10 years ago. It doesn't impress me now just because you got Elijah Wood. There was a new Assassin's Creed, Ancient Greece. They put a woman in that game. This isn't historically accurate. Shut up. Nobody cares.
No one gives an actual fuck.
Ubisoft, it's a Ubisoft conference. 5 out of 10. They propped Miyamoto on stage to showcase some gimmicky flight game they made. And they had amiibos and Star Foxes in it. And Miyamoto was dragged up on stage. And you could see in his eyes, he had the eyes of, don't you dare fuck my character over. Don't you do it. You be very careful. But yeah, it was a Ubisoft conference. 5 out of 10, whatever. The PC conference, you didn't watch this one.
No.
I wasn't going to watch it. I started watching it. And I watched more than I planned to. I didn't finish it. I watched more than I planned to on the strength of the announcer's charisma. He was really, there was some developer whose microphone broke, and he was he hugged the guy, and he's just talking to my time, man. He was really cool. A lot of indie games. There's not a lot to say about it, though. I don't think there's a lot that, we could talk about, you not having seen it.
Well, the most notable thing is
Yakuza! Now, the reason I wrote this down, very specifically, I'm not a Yakuza guy, but I know I will be a Yakuza guy one day. I just haven't played the games. Could you give me just a 1 minute sort of sales pitch on the game?
Okay, so...
That way we can at least claim we kind of talked about the PC conference. Okay. Because, as everybody knows, you and I are PlayStation shills, or Xbox shills, depending on which conference we think won.
Well, If you are a PC owner and you haven't played the Yakuza series, well, you're getting Yakuza 0 and you're getting Yakuza Kiwami. Yakuza 0 is a prequel. Kiwami is a remake of the first game. You have the best places to start. So there you go. If you want to know what kind of games they are uh, basically action RPG brawlers. You run around town. People pick fights with you for the dumbest reasons. It's hilarious. And you in Zero, you actually level up with money, because the cool thing about Yakuza Zero is since it takes place in the 80s, that was when there was an economic boom in Japan. So one of the consistent themes of the game is money. Everyone is rich. And you even level up with money. You have a sphere grid for each individual fighting style that you have, and you learn new moves by purchasing them with money, and you level up, and it's hilarious and it's awesome. And the thing about Yakuza is it is the best balance of ridiculousness and serious storytelling that I've seen in a game, where you will have a main story that is about murder, betrayal, all of these like really human interactions, and then you have these side quests where you're bowling for a turkey, and then your prize is a literal live chicken that can then become one of your real estate agents. It's amazing.
The chicken.
Yes. There's a whole real estate mini game that you have where you can buy up property, and you can have different advisors on different like pieces of property, and you can actually place the chicken as one of your advisors. The chicken has economic influence, okay? It's
okay.
It's a great series. It's one that it's somehow manages to balance the silliness and the seriousness by usually by keeping them pretty separate. Like they keep them pretty far apart. So usually the optional stuff is where the game is silly, but the main story is actually like very serious, very interesting, very well written. Honestly, I don't know how much harder I can sell it. This is a great series. If you like to punch people in the face and then level up and also sing karaoke, like just fucking go for it.
And you can just jump in at the Yakuza 0 is a new one, right?
It is a prequel.
But it's the most recent one, isn't it?
No, 6 is the most recent one.
Okay, but you can jump in at Yakuza 0.
Absolutely.
All right. See, I'm looking forward to becoming a Yakuza guy.
Because, yeah, okay, you are being a Yakuza guy, but at the same time,
No, I mean a fan of the games.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, because the main character is not, a typical Yakuza guy. He's got a heart of gold.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kazuma...
This isn't like Grand Theft Auto, where you play just the worst person in the world.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Kazuma is, he's a gruff guy, but at the same time, he's also, the biggest sweetheart. It's the fucking best. Some of the side quests in this game have him do the most ridiculous stuff, and he just kind of sighs and deals with it. In Yakuza 6, they this one guy was like, "Oh, you're perfect to play this mascot. You gotta do it." And he's like, "I don't want to do this." And he's like, "No, you gotta do it." And he's just like, "Okay, fine." He gets in this ridiculous outfit where his head is like an orange or something. He's got a ramen bowl on top, and then he's doing all the poses and stuff. And he's just like, "Oh, why am I doing this?" But he still
Okay,
like does it anyways because it's for the kids, and he's like, "Well, if it's for the kids, then it's okay." I love this guy. He's the fucking best.
Yeah, this sounds interesting. I look forward to being a Yakuza guy.
Yes. I have no doubt you will enjoy it.
This is kind of unrelated to E3. Earlier this year, I became a JoJo guy, and I was very happy about doing that. It took me a while going into it, but I did it, and I really love it. And I just watched like The Wordo compilations for like a solid week afterwards.
The Wordo!
The Wordo, Jotaro! It's ridiculous. And
JoJo.
Yuri. It's just the most ridiculous characters in the world.
It's
Get a
so
queen!
Good.
But it's really good.
Nice! Oh my god!
Yeah, so many times.
Holy shit!
Rodororada! Just insanity.
I love JoJo. It's so good.
So good.
It's so stupid. It's the best.
It's really elevated by the best kind of acting over dramatic Japanese acting.
Yes.
My God, that's good.
Like, because I've seen some people complain about JoJo and criticize it, and it's like people who take it way too seriously, and I always feel like if you're taking JoJo too seriously, then JoJo is actively laughing at you.
That's a good way to put it.
Cause like it's so ridiculous, like, and it knows it, it owns it, it fucking rides really in its own filth, like.
But at the same time, it can be really tough. Like,
yes,
Yoshikage Kira stares down Jotaro. Jotaro's bleeding out of every orifice. He's just like, this guy, this puny little guy in his white hat, like, this is over. Killer Queen, I'm not going to say what happens, like, I'm not going to spoil it, just watch it. But what happens, my God, that was really powerful for me. See, just watching that.
That's the magic of JoJo, because it's so silly and it's so ridiculous that when it does take itself seriously, it hits that much harder because you don't expect it.
Oh my God, yes.
I love JoJo.
It's so good.
But why did you bring it up?
Like the fight with Vanilla Ice?
Dude, if we don't move on, we're just going to be talking about JoJo this whole time.
This is the side segment. This is our JoJo podcast. Anyway, I'm sold on Yakuza. PC conference, like, it's probably one of the better conferences because it was a lot of indie games, and I kind of feel bad that we're just talking about like, Sony and Microsoft, because the PC conference was like, we're just two guys from our basement and we were invited here to do this. But we're just corporate shills, and we only like the big AAAs. PC conference, pretty cool. Can't really rate it, didn't watch it. Sony!
Weird conference.
The worst opening, because they spent like 10 minutes with just some dumb people talk. Like, they showed The Last of Us 2, then they showed just some dumbasses are talking for 10 minutes. Show some games. Don't show these people. Show me something.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, though, right? So they show those weird people, and then they show The Last of Us 2.
No, they showed they showed them, then The Last of Us 2, then they show them again.
And then they say like, oh, we're going to do an intermission. I'm like, what? You just started the show. You're doing intermission? What?
Show some... I don't mind doing intermission, but don't break up the viewing experience. Show some games. Show just smaller games. Just like, hey, here's just an advertisement for this game from this company. Maybe show Devil May Cry 5 again. Just do anything.
But then after that, it was so weird. It was just trailer. It didn't even feel like a presentation anymore. It was just them showing a bunch of trailers, and then they just ended the conference. And I was just like,
yeah, I think
weird.
the intermission was probably just supposed to be like a minute long, but something dragged, and they didn't have time for the people to go out and introduce the games because Kojima was at E3. He didn't say anything about Death Stranding on stage. Like, you prop him up on stage and you get him to say, like, hey everybody, here's the new trailer, hope you like it. I'm friends with Del Toro, and I'm a big Hollywood guy now.
Do you remember the E3 where he announced Death Stranding? It was the most lavish, fucking elaborate, like, entrance. He was walking in, and then the lights were like,
yeah, they hit the floors underneath him.
Like, it was so cool, and nothing like that this time.
No, but I think we're kind of jumping ahead. The Last of Us 2. What do you think of this trailer?
Gay.
Wow. Feminist propaganda, if you ask me. Ooh. A woman wouldn't survive in the post-apocalypse. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Why does anything have to be like anything? Why can't this just be a video game, people?
I, for one, enjoy the lesbians, so, you know, I was totally down with that.
Yeah. I suppose if Joel had been making out with some guy, people would have been more justifiably frustrated, I suppose, but...
Well, that would have been creepy.
That would have been, like... Look, people, you know, inclusion and all that, but there's something more... I guess there's something more presentable about two women making out than two men making out, which is weird. Like,
no,
it's weird to say
that's
that.
what you meant. I thought you meant him making out with Ellie. I would have been like, no, that would have been fucking weird.
No. That would have been weird.
That would have been awful.
But no, I meant Troy Baker, Joel coming out and making out with. He really loves Nolan North. Get Nolan North to play another character.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. You know, just a quick sidetrack. We talked about Square Enix. We didn't talk about Tomb Raider. I would like a Tomb Raider where you just get, like, have her meet Nathan Drake in a game at some point. Maybe not have him be a big role, but like, oh yeah, Nathan Drake, I know that guy. Just because you can. The worlds kind of work together. Maybe do that exclusive on the PlayStation.
And then they have hot, steamy sex.
Oh, yeah, baby. And Victor Sullivan watches from his corner. Good going there, Nate.
That was a nice move.
Nate! Because the player messed something up. My God, Nate! The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about?
I never played the first Last of Us, so I mean, I own it. I want to play it at some point. So until then, I don't really have much to say about this trailer other than it looked nice.
The Last of Us, people are really souring on the Last of Us type of game where it's like, it's not oil and water storytelling, which everybody was upset about a few years ago. It's this kind of, you walk for a bit and then you just fight people and then you have cutscenes because the gameplay isn't capable of like delivering the story. People are really sour on those games, I feel. There's kind of a backlash growing. The Last of Us 1 is to this day the most refined version of that. So if you ever needed a good sales pitch, which is kind of non-biased, that's a good way to sort of sell that game.
Okay.
This looks like just a natural kind of expansion on that. To me, there seems to be a few scripted scenes which occurred mid-play. Like, it seemed like the game may have been... Like, there was a moment where Ellie was thrown, like, through a small window kiosk, or, like, a window... Like, there was on some podium there was, like, some piece of glass, and she was thrown through that. I don't know if, like, is the AI doing that, or is that, like, just a tiny scripted moment which occurred because the player was standing there and the enemy there? I'm really interested in seeing what this game does. My God, plants look good in video games today.
Yeah, like the game in general just looked gorgeous. The thing is, though, like, it's an E3 presentation, so I'm kind of like, I have my cynicism glasses on, and I feel that it's probably not going to look this good.
That being said, Naughty Dog have delivered. I think it will probably look this good purely because it's Naughty Dog.
Okay,
But
yeah, Naughty Dog are pretty fucking impressive. So it, I don't think it will look quite as good, but it will still probably look pretty fantastic.
okay.
I don't doubt that this is going to be a looker.
The last game they downgraded was Uncharted 3. I think I'm going in with the expectations of it looking like this. I think they've set the bar that high, but I understand that you wouldn't do that. Then comes the intermission. And I'm sitting there, and look, you have to understand something. It's like, I wake up at around 6, 7 every day. And I'm not currently working. I injured myself, so I've been home for the past few days. I decided, I'll just binge E3 because this sort of happens in between. It's 3 hours until I would regularly wake up, and I'm watching some dumbasses talk about, boy, wasn't that interesting? We're just gonna be here for like a few minutes while they move stadiums. Like, I'm so tired. I'm running on coffee here. I'm so tired. I should have gone to sleep 4 hours ago. I was really upset at this. But then they showed Ghost of Tsushima. And this one looks interesting.
Yes, I agree.
Again, plants look very nice.
They do. They really do.
Samurai, again. I don't know what I can really say about it. It is, like...
It looks really, really good. I don't know if it's going to be a samurai game or a ninja game, because I remember the first trailer for this game showed more ninja stuff, but this one seemed to show more samurai stuff. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a little bit of both, but I think what's interesting about this game is being made by Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch made Infamous, and they made the Sly Cooper games. So I do think it's interesting that we have a Western studio handling an Eastern type of game. So I think that will give it an interesting flavor.
Yeah, kind of like how Dark Souls was handled by Japanese From Software.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I wonder... I would like to get like a Japanese person's input on when the game launches. Like, what do you like? Is this accurate? Because the new God of War launched, very sort of Nordic mythology. A lot of stuff I remember reading in like elementary school, where I'm like, is that how the story went? Is that how it went? And a lot of Icelandic words. Icelandic today is ancient Norwegian. Like the language the Vikings spoke and the runes and all that. I can read that stuff. I could read you a 1,000-year-old manuscript. And that really hurt my enjoyment of the new God of War. Because it's like words weirdly put together. And I'm interested in seeing, what would a Japanese person think of this?
Yeah. I'm sure if we asked Hideki Kamiya, he'd tell us that we're blocked.
He still hasn't given me a new controller. I'm very outraged about that. So, and I broke my other controller recently too. I was fighting Liquid on Metal Gear Rex, and I think I'm on the hardest difficulty, and he is just impossible. And I just threw it at my floor, but it hit the floor while it was still in my hand, and I felt it shatter into a million pieces in my hands, and I immediately thought, what the hell have I done?
That reminds me of that Pros Ed, like little, because he does like little quick skits, and he's playing a game, or he's pretending to play a game. He gets really angry. He's about to throw it, and then he like gently then puts it back down.
Yeah. uh,
You forgot that last step.
yeah, I knew I did something wrong. Anyway, they showed some other small stuff. Control.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
being made by Remedy,
Yeah.
which is interesting because for those that don't know, Remedy made Max Payne.
Remedy is an Xbox, isn't it? Like, they're predominantly Xbox.
They're kind of. So Max Payne 1 and 2 were released on PC,
They made
PS2, and Xbox.
Remedy made Quantum Break, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And they also made Alan Wake, which was a 360 game.
Yeah, then it got a PC port, right?
Yeah, but then that PC port got removed for some reason.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Something up with the licensing.
I'm gonna open up Steam. Well, updating. Forget that. I'll trust you. Yeah, this looks interesting. It looks cool. It looks kind of Inception-y. The woman has telekinetic powers. I'll keep an eye on this.
I also got Inception vibes from it. It looks really interesting. I liked the way that the environment moved around. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah. Let's talk about the mercifully short Call of Duty trailer.
I was dreading that when I was like, oh my god, they're showing Call of Duty. And then it was done, and I was like, oh.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because they didn't show up with Xbox, and I kind of thought, oh yeah, because Sony is bigger, so Call of Duty is of course going to be on Sony. Thank God. You know, for the past few years, every time I watch an E3, Activision steals like 10 minutes of my lives with their stupid showcases. And look, boo-hoo, first world problems. 10 minutes add up over a lifetime. I really, look, it's in the, Call of Duty is a game series. I've never played it, but I hate it because of the marketing. Purely because of the marketing. I hate this series.
I've played Modern Warfare 1 and 2 and beat them. And
Are they good?
The first Modern Warfare was good. The second one, not so much.
Right.
And
well, you've changed my mind. I'm ambivalent towards this series now.
But like, yeah, I'm glad it was mercifully short, as you put it here, because I do not give a fuck about this series. So, you'd think people would be bored of the fucking series by now, but these games still sell for whatever reason.
Yeah. Didn't going back to EA? Didn't they when they talked about Battlefield? They said something about having Battle Royale, didn't they? I remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Somebody unveiled something with Battle Royale, and the people were like, yay. Just kind of, nobody cared, and the developers were like, oops, well, isn't this good? Don't you guys love Battle Royales?
Yeah, PUBG and Fortnite and Radical Heights have just taken the gaming medium by storm. Just yeah.
The only good Battle Royale is the Crash Tag Team Racing Battle Royale, where
I thought you were going to talk about the fucking Beat Takeshi movie.
What?
You never seen it?
Have I never seen what? Beat?
The Battle Royale with Beat Takeshi.
Oh, no, the movie. Yeah, that's probably good too.
It's a great movie. It's so good. You should watch it.
Would you say it's better than the Crash Tag Team Racing mini game extra, where you can play as any of the Crash Bandicoot characters and attack any of the other ones?
I am very confident when I say that it's better.
All right then.
It's a really
Choice.
good movie.
Those are some big words though, because I loved that. I loved that game mode when I was younger.
I'm sure you did, but this is a really good movie. Anyways, I've been waiting to talk about Spoderman.
Okay, Spider-Man. Let's do that.
Yeah, so I think it looks really good, and the last time I got like really excited about a fucking Spider-Man game was Spider-Man 2. You know, like because
That's a few years ago.
a few.
Like 15 or something.
Yeah. So that game was actually kind of like a mediocre game, but what made it memorable was the web slinging. The web slinging in that game was
Phenomenal.
amazing.
And the subsequent games didn't have that. Like, why did Spider-Man 2 from 2003 have better web slinging than like the stuff Beanox did with Spider-Man in 2012?
I have no
How do
idea.
you explain that?
I don't know, but I'm glad. I'm glad that they finally decided to give the license. Like, you know what? I'm sure Beanox is a good studio or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to dog on them, but I am glad that like Insomniac have been given the license so that they can inject new blood into Spider-Man.
Yes.
And this new game looks pretty killer. It looks like a lot of fun. Like, I have
didn't
not
see
been
any-
excited for a Spider-Man game in so long.
The last time we saw this game, it ended with a lot of quick time events. This didn't have that.
They may have taken them out. They may have heard people go like, hey, what the fuck is this shit? And they're like, oh, maybe we should not do that.
There was a moment where Electro threw a lot of to kind of tankers or something at Spider-Man, and Spider-Man zoomed in through them. I feel like that may have originally been a quick time event, but we'll just take it out and we'll just have it be a short cutscene, which is the right thing.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
No, yeah, I agree. I fucking hate quick time events. They're so annoying.
Another thing I like about this game is the costume. Every time I see this costume Spider-Man is wearing, I like it more. It's like red, white, and blue. It's so good.
Yeah, it still feels like you're looking at Spider-Man, but it's not the exact same design that we've seen a million times. It's just different enough, but just familiar enough where it's right.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of villains. It seems like I made a video like a year ago when Adam West died, and I brought up that Spider-Man was like, the new Spider-Man. It's kind of going Arkham route, and I think that's a good thing. Spider-Man is a very good fit for that sort of game. What's interesting to me though is there was a moment in the trailer, and maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but Spider-Man was fighting the guys, and there was a moment where it appeared like, to me, and again, I may be remembering this wrong, he jumped on a pillar and then punched an enemy. So I'm thinking, ooh, how many animations did you make for the combat? And this is like a thing, maybe I'm the only one who cares about this, but of course, that's how you do it. You don't have Spider-Man just punching the guys like all around him. You have him zipping around the room, beating all of them up. I don't know where I'm going with this. I just really like that.
No, yeah, I thought the combat looked really good as well. And because it's made by Insomniac, they have an attention to detail for animations, especially. Especially if you look at the Ratchet and Clank games. So
I do begrudge them on Ratchet and Clank 3 that Ratchet, when he was shooting the guns, like he didn't really. Some of the guns he had an animation pose for, some of them he didn't. But I know a lot about the development of Ratchet and Clank 3, so I can't really begrudge them. But yeah,
I heard
attention to detail.
Yeah, I heard the development for 3 was kind of a mess.
Yeah, attention to detail though, absolutely.
Yeah, And that attention to detail, you can definitely see it in Spider-Man. You know, the animations are silky smooth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be really good.
See, and the thing is, this is what you could have had with Star Wars. You don't give it to EA, give it to Insomniac, give it to anybody. Give the license to just 10 different studios. I don't know. This game is gonna sell well, and it's a good thing, and I'm gonna probably buy it and enjoy it. Neo 2.
You know, I have the first Neo, and I played a chunk of it. I still need to go back and finish it. But I'm still like, cool, Neo 2. I'm happy about it.
I haven't played the original. I plan to. Really cool. Yeah. It's a good thing. It's weird that Sony had two sort of Japanese samurai games, but like whatever, man. That's cool.
You can't have too many cool samurai games.
That much we know. Resident Evil 2.
Oh yeah.
My God, this was good.
You know what? Fuck everyone else. Capcom won E3.
Yeah. They absolutely did. This game, it even looks beautiful. Because there were questions like around the time, like, can Capcom pull this off? And the guy was wearing like the t-shirt, yeah, we can do it. Like,
we do it.
We do it. It's really beautiful. And oh my God. And I'm not even a big Capcom guy. I'm not a big RE guy. But yeah, I'll play this. It looks beautiful. It looks really fun. And it looks like a lot of passion went into this. And the reveal, something about it just really worked. You have Leon coming out of the shadows, like out of frame shooting the guy.
Dude, when it started off in that point of view of the rat, like, that was cool.
I thought, when I saw that, I was thinking, oh, is this like a mouse VR game where you're playing a person that can shrink? But then you sort of hear the rustle and bustle and you kind of get more acclimated. Oh, no. This is a Resident Evil game. That was really good. This, I think, was the best reveal of them all. Devil May Cry will probably be the one for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this one is the best reveal in my book.
It was a pretty killer reveal. It was amazing. I'm definitely going to play this game because I love, like, I'm not a huge fan of, like, the tank control Resident Evil games, just because that control style is hard for me to get used to. But
okay,
I love 4. Love 4 to death. So, and this looks a lot like 4, so I'm sold.
This looks like a mix. This looks like they took 4, but got away with the campy, ridiculous setting, put it into a more sort of realistic world, realistic in brackets, of the original Resident Evil 2, because number 4, people remember it as very campy, but you take that gameplay and you put it into a serious game, it can become terrifying.
The thing is, though, they're going to have to do something about the police department.
You think so?
Well, I mean, how are you going to make this realistic looking ass game and then have like, oh, you need to like push the statues to like, you know, I remember the in game, like the lore reasoning for it was that the police, it used to be a museum, and then they decided to like, apparently the police chief was like eccentric or something, like, I don't know, it was something weird like that.
Look, yeah, you probably, if you want to make a serious game, you probably need to change that, but I don't know, I think it's kind of charming to keep that.
Oh, I love it, don't get me wrong, I think it's great. But like, for this gritty reboot, I don't know. Or remake, rather.
Probably you're going to change that a bit. But yeah, this was a cool reveal. Now, Death Stranding.
I felt significantly deflated when I saw this, honestly, because it looked like a walking simulator. I didn't really see any like
Yes.
interesting gameplay. I
See,
eh.
I agree with you, but when I look at that, I think, oh, Kojima is structuring his game like Shadow of the Colossus, where you have long stretches of nothing happening, and then you have very high octane things happening. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, this is the sort of ambient moment before you get the stealth moment. And look, maybe I'm covering because it's Kojima, but this looks really. I think it looked good. I don't think it is a walking simulator because it was too open. And I think it's going to be more like a Shadow of the Colossus where you make your way to these areas, like you're a delivery man and you make your way to these areas. I think the walking simulation, I guess I'm trying to say, is it will be in service to something. It's not going to be like a Dear Esther where, like, wow, Kojima, this is what you did. But one thing which I do think kind of worries me about this is that from the older trailers, I got the feeling that this game was going to be more in line with like abstracted military realism, like Metal Gear Solid was. I don't think this is that. I think this is going to be playing more with the rules of physics. We know Norman Reedus has like the equation for some black hole, like the Schwarzschild equation, I think it's called, around his neck on the necklace in the first trailer. And that does kind of worry me because I really wanted to see another sort of military game from Kojima. But what did you think about the reveal of Leah Seydoux and the Bionic Woman, Lindsay Wagner, I think?
I don't know. I mean, it they didn't really we couldn't really infer much about their characters.
No.
So to me, it just felt like, hey, here's some new characters, and it's like, okay, that's cool, I guess.
I feel like if he had gotten a bigger actresses, and I'm not saying like not to slight these actresses. I like Leah Seydoux and what I've seen of her in Spectre and in the Mission Impossible movie she was in, but people don't care about her. If they'd gotten like Scarlett Johansson or like someone a bit more notable, people would have it would have gotten a bigger reaction from people.
Sure, and I'm sure they're great actresses, but like I'm also thinking of it from it should be more than just like, oh look, it's this actress. It's like the reveal in the trailer should be like, hey look, this is a cool, interesting character.
Yeah, I agree with you. One thing I'll say about these characters, and this has to do with the Decim engine. I hate the skin texture look. I hate the skin of the characters in these games. It looks like they're kind of smeared with clay. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
When Mads Mikkelsen was shown, he looks photorealistic. That looks like just a detailed CGI model. But it's kind of smudgy faces on everyone else, which annoys me. What did you think about Norman Reedus pulling off his toenail?
Yeah, that legitimately made me like reel back. It was rough to watch.
That was hard.
Stuff like that always like gets to me, and watching that was hard to look at. It really was.
Could you do me a favor? Could you quickly just Google Icelandic wilderness?
Okay.
Just Google image it. Okay, you're done.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. This is Death Stranding. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
This is like because Kojima came to Iceland a few years ago. Like he had an Icelandic band, Low Roar, play like the first two trailers he made. this is Death Stranding. The world is based at least on this. There's no way it isn't.
No, I
And
agree. This, yeah.
and to the listeners, just Google it and check it out. It is, and maybe that's the reason I kind of like this trailer, even though it wasn't that substantial, because I sympathize with Norman Reedus. I too have been wandering in the wilderness of Iceland, not having to peel back my toe. Of course not. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't get into the CD Projekt Red hype. I don't think they've proven themselves really. But I think Kojima's name alone, like whatever, say what you want about the last few games he's made, like I think he has enough gravitas to really just trust me. You don't worry about it being a walking simulator. There's more to this. I think that's.
I love Kojima, so I'm gonna play this game no matter what. Even though my opinions on his games are like extremely variable, even the ones I don't like are an experience.
I think every one of them has redeeming qualities.
Yeah, even the lesser titles still have things about them that are interesting.
Yeah, and just for the record, people have mixed opinions on his last game, The Phantom Pain. I loved that game, and I think that in terms of raw mechanic balancing of just a high octane, enjoyable gameplay, nothing touches that game. I think it is refined to just a mirror sheen. It is just perfect playing that game. I think it's the best playing game. But we're spending way too much time talking about Kojima.
Yes. So now we can move on to the Nintendo conference.
But before we do, see, we're rating Sony.
Oh.
Can I... What... Yeah, we just like 0 from 10 again. What would you rate them as?
6.
I had a thought you would. Can I try to bump that up to even higher than Microsoft?
Higher than Microsoft?
Higher than Microsoft.
Why?
But see, because I think Sony's conference had the most substance of any of them. I don't like most of Microsoft games. Most of what they show was kind of a miss for me. I don't care about most of it, but the stuff I do care about, I'll get it on PlayStation. Whereas with Sony, they kind of did what Bethesda did, but they just went more in depth on more games. And I would also like to posit this. If Sony had done their sort of 4 big games, and then Sean Layden had gone on stage like, oh, thank you everybody for coming out. By the way, we have one final thing to show you. Boom, then Resident Evil trailer comes out. I think that would have made it much better.
See, the thing is, though, it's supposed... To me, it's also supposed to be a show. I'm supposed to be entertained. True. It's supposed to feel like a presentation. And Sony...
The 10-minute intermission didn't do it for you?
Sony really dropped the ball on that end. And that's... I agree to a certain extent. Like, yeah, we got shown a lot of cool stuff at the Sony conference. But it was done in, like, one of the worst ways possible.
Okay. I think we're just gonna... I get where you're coming from then. Let's say... Could we say 7 rather than 6? So it's at least on par with, what, like Bethesda?
6.5.
6.5. Okay. These ratings mean nothing, by the way. Oh, Sony showed Kingdom Hearts again. Jack Sparrow. Do you have anything to say about Pirates of the Caribbean? Johnny Depp is a drunk who beats his wife. Let's move on.
I mean, that world was... It was fun in Kingdom Hearts 2, and it looks even better in Kingdom Hearts 3. So, yeah.
All right, then.
Moving on.
Sony, 7.5. Nintendo...
Nintendo. Oh, Nintendo. So, I will say that the very first thing that they showed, Daemon X Machina, looked fucking awesome.
It looked like Armored Core in Technicolor. It looked really fun.
It looked awesome. Like it had me really excited. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. It looked like a Sunrise animation in video game form. It looked amazing. Sunrise, for those that don't know, those are the people that that's the animation studio that does Gundam.
Didn't they make Gias, your favorite show?
Oh, don't do that to me.
I'm sorry.
None. But yeah, so this game looks so good. I'm excited for it, and it's going to be a Switch exclusive. So,
yes. Now I'll finally get to play my Switch again. You know, Nintendo demonetized my Majora's Mask video, so
those fucking bastards! Your Majora's Mask video was fantastic.
Thank you.
You deserve all of the monetary gain from it that you should have earned.
See, that's what I say. But then Shigeru Miyamoto comes out, and he thinks that I'm dishonoring his company or whatever. Look, I don't give a crap about monetization. Like, boo-hoo, I don't get $15. But I do think Nintendo really does need to fix their sort of attitude with YouTube videos, because every other company is really kind of cool with it, I think.
Yeah.
I think this is the area they're sort of weakest in, their public relations.
Yeah, it's a shame, but
yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway,
they've been weird about it.
Yeah, Fire Emblem's Three Houses. Are you a Fire Emblem guy?
Somewhat.
They used to be a lot more hardcore, didn't they?
Who, me?
The Fire Emblem games.
Oh, yes. The Fire Emblem games were... Okay, so... Fire Emblem Awakening was a dynamic shift for the series, where they decided to make things more anime, and they focus more on the waifus and shit like that.
Ugh.
Yeah, and the story in it is nothing. It is a nothing story, and they also amped up like the goofiness. They made the characters more silly. But older Fire Emblem games, very politically driven. Also hard as balls, right? When a character dies, that's it. They're fucking dead. They're gone. Okay. They don't come back. If you want that character back, sorry, you're gonna have to restart the whole map. So older Fire Emblem games did not fuck around, and they were serious games. Like even
this new one.
Even
is this?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You finish, and then I'll say.
All I was gonna say was like even you could tell like even in the art style, right? Like I want you to look up the artwork for Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, and then look at the artwork for Awakening, and you'll see like there's a huge difference in not just like the art style, but also like the character designs. So like there's one character.
Yeah, this looks a lot more Western.
See, the older
Westernish.
See, the older art style was more. I like to say it's more distinguished. While Awakening,
it's not as sort of beautiful, effeminate.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Awakening was the art's not bad, but it's done by the guy that does No More Heroes, and that doesn't fit with Fire Emblem.
Mm.
Fire Emblem is, again, it's far more politically driven, much more serious. So Awakening decided to be more anime. They appealed more to the weeaboos, and as a result, Awakening is like one of the best-selling games in the series. It saved the series, literally. And I'm not trying to say like Awakening is like a terrible game or anything. I actually did enjoy Awakening, but it wasn't a Fire Emblem game. That's how I see it. Like it should have been something different.
Okay, and what does this new one? What does this look like? Is this just the same as Awakening?
So this new one to me looks like it was harkening back more to the older games. it looks like it didn't look quite as anime. It still does, but it at least felt like, okay, they're trying to at least appeal more to the older fans with this one. At least that's kind of how I felt watching the trailer. So they have they still have the see, because I'm still worried, right? They could still fuck it up. They could still make it like Awakening, and they could still shove down like the half-naked waifus down my throat, and I'm gonna hate it. So I'm very cautious about this game. I will say.
Could you imagine the shitstorm that would occur if Square Enix were to put out like a DLC in Tomb Raider where Lara Croft wears like just a bikini throughout the entire game? People would lose their minds. Why do Japanese companies get away with this?
I think it's just because people look at Japan, they're like, "Oh, Japan's weird." They look
it's
at
like
Japan,
that
they're just like
uncle where you just make excuses.
They're like, "Oh, you." Like, there's even a character in Awakening. I think her name is Cordelia. She has like these boob plate armor.
What?
Yeah, armor that contorts to her breasts.
Emblem.
Yeah, and
Cordelia.
I think that's her name.
What is this?
Okay, now look up from Path of Radiance. Look up Titania.
Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Titania.
Now look at her armor.
It's real armor.
Exactly.
Comparatively. What is Cordelia wearing? Like, here's one where she has like an open cleavage. That can't be good. Like, she's wearing a mini skirt.
That's probably one of the like. Oh no, yeah, she just wears a mini skirt.
There's a lot of porn. I'm gonna close this. There's a lot of porn.
Yeah, see that's what I mean, right? Like, you could see it just in how those two characters are designed, just how like different the mindset is between like older Fire Emblem and the newer Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
We've gone from like classy and distinguished to like lowest common denominator, like fetish crap.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping and praying that this new Fire Emblem game is more like the old games and not like the new ones.
Are there no options in the new ones for kind of a more realistic experience where you have sort of a kind of a director's cut, sort of just a bit more hardcore, characters die, the characters just alter the story a bit where the waifu crap is just taken out? There's no option for that.
So there is an option to make it so that characters die, right? So they give you the option right away. I think it's called like casual mode or hardcore mode or something like that, where you can play the game and your characters so like in casual mode, if your characters die, they'll come back, after the fight. But if you go like the normal mode or hardcore mode, whatever they called it, in that mode, it's just like classic Fire Emblem. Characters die, they're fucking dead. That's it.
All right.
So that is one thing that I would say that Awakening did do right. They give you the option, and I think that was very smart for newcomers.
Okay. The next game is Super Smash Ultimate.
I have to say, this is the most disappointing aspect of the Nintendo conference.
Yes.
Not because I have anything against Smash. Smash is good and all. But they spent half of the conference, like 20, 25 minutes, just talking about Smash.
This is where I go again into my... I went into my sort of producer mindset when I look at what... I look at Fallout 76... I think of it from a producer perspective. From this, I look at it from Nintendo is launching an online service they need Smash. They need Fortnite, they need Smash. That's why they show both of those games. But you're really going to dedicate the entire show to this? Like, you're not going to show us anything from, like, Metroid Prime 4?
Oh my god, no Metroid Prime 4. No Animal Crossing. I mean, I'm not even an Animal Crossing fan, but, like, people have been waiting for that.
And now, I didn't play the last game, but it looks to me, because they had, like, everybody's back. That's the tagline. And people are up in arms. No, everyone's here. People are up in arms that Waluigi is not there.
Waluigi was never there.
No, but he's like, there's an assist trophy, and people are just, how could you not put Waluigi in the game? Why do you think? He's the most disgusting character in the world. Anyway.
Not but who gives a fuck about Waluigi?
He's such a nothing character. Let's not talk about it. What's interesting to me about this game is that they had like a reveal where, it's like the Inklings. They're the new characters. And by the way, we have one new character, and they put Ridley from Metroid in the game. Which is cool, but I was so expecting it to be Crash Bandicoot. I was actually disappointed when it was Ridley, because I was like, you couldn't get Crash Bandicoot in this. Or like Banjo-Kazooie, get them in this.
No, they wouldn't be able to with Banjo.
See, I think they would, because Phil Spencer of Xbox has gone on record saying, like, yeah, why not? Like, we could do that. There's something that we can work. Like, you can work something out. Even if it's just for, like, one game. They got Solid Snake in there. Well, he was... Solid Snake was a PlayStation mascot. He's not really anymore.
Yeah, I think you also have to remember that Twin Snakes, was on the GameCube.
Yeah, it's true.
And Metal Gear Ghost Babel on the Game Boy Color.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, this looks interesting. I had a thought, and this may be just, maybe this isn't really relevant to anything. I thought a really cool thing they could have done, and they couldn't have done this because you can't do this, would be you do the original launch trailer where all the characters are just like in the dark, the Inklings are playing, and then the Nintendo characters are staring at them with the eyes of death, and the fire is burning. You do that again, but then you have the PlayStation mascots, all of them appear, and they're staring the Nintendo characters down, and you have PlayStation enters the battle. My god, that would have been good. But this just kind of looks like the last game a bit refined.
Yeah, it looked like Smash on Wii U, but just more shit.
Yeah. Hey, this is maybe... If you had to pitch one character you would like to see come to Smash, which one would you pick?
Guts.
He's not a video game character.
Hey, he's been in video games before.
Yeah, he's been in video games. That's a weird pull, but okay.
That's why I picked it.
You wouldn't pick like Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Why the fuck would I do that?
I don't know.
I'd much rather have the Black Swordsman come in, and his final smash is to transform into his Berserker armor.
And almost rape the character, but then he's pulled back. You wouldn't want Dante. He has never been in a Smash game. Has he?
No.
No, you wouldn't rather have him.
Although the reboot Dante was in the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale game.
That game was so misguided. Because all of your... Sony, I love your games, but your mascots, it's all just guys with guns. You can't make a fighting game out of that. You really wouldn't have rather... Okay, you can have Guts.
Plus, Dante is, I mean... He'd be too OP. Have you played him in Marvel vs. Capcom? He's too OP.
He's too overpowered. Okay. Yeah, that's probably why Waluigi isn't in the game either. He's overpowered.
Oh, that's it. Waluigi's too OP.
Fine. I would then pick Griffith, and his smash is that he just sacrifices everybody. No! His smash is that he actually has sex with the characters, but then he's thrown into a dungeon for like a year. And then the character is just locked off and you can't play as him until the next Smash.
Or no, wait. The Nintendo Switch actually has to be it acknowledges like the entire year.
Yeah. and you can't change the date in the game. We programmed it to work that way. You can't fool us. It goes online and it checks a date.
That's
No, but I think it would be kind of a good show of faith for like Xbox to give them Banjo-Kazooie, and for maybe PlayStation, like, hey, you can have Kratos for one game. That's just kind of
that
a
would be cool,
show
but
of faith.
I don't know that they're not cool. That's the thing. They're corporations.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I keep thinking these things are my friends.
Oh, they're my buddies. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That was E3. Well, what would you rate the Nintendo conference? Personally, I also give them a 6. Like,
I think I would say a step beneath Sony, because at least Sony had... No, you know what? Let's put them on equal grounds with Sony. Because, and I don't know if you watched this, there was a stream after the show where Sakurai played a couple of matches with some people. Did you watch this?
No.
Okay. So there was this guy called Nate, and there was another guy called Smitty, and they just competed while Sakurai was being interviewed through a translator. And the guy called Nate won, and I think he just like decimated the battle. And the interview was kind of over, and then Nate goes, hey, why don't we all play a game? And Sakurai is just like, oh yeah, okay. And there are 4 of them now playing the game. The interviewer, Sakurai, Smitty, and Nate, the original winner. Sakurai absolutely domesticates every other player, just beats them hands down. And see, and the thing about this Nate guy, I think he's like in localization or something. I think he works for Sakurai. And, the interviewer, like, they kind of kept the interview going during the fight. And then they sort of, were going to end it again. And then Nate went, could we have, like, a rematch? And they had a rematch. and Sakurai absolutely beat him out again. But the thing is, it went to Final Smash. And there were 3 of them left. I think it was Smitty, Nate, and Sakurai. Nate beats Smitty out. It's Nate and Sakurai beats Nate. And the look on Nate's face, like he was just absolutely destroyed. His soul had left his body. There was no life in his eyes. If you can find it, just watch that stream. It's like, it takes 10 minutes. See how Nate goes from like, yeah, I won the first round against this guy. Sakurai, you're next. To just, what have I done? I challenged my boss, and I've just been destroyed.
He challenged the guy who made the fucking game. Of course
he did it twice.
Of course he's going to mop the floor with you.
So, find that footage, because that is like the journey that guy went on. The heights he reached and the lows he sank to.
Incredible.
But yeah, that was E3 2018. That was enough cool stuff. I don't regret watching this.
Yeah, it was an interesting E3. Very wonky, very up and down.
Yeah, presentation-wise, like Square Enix and Sony, maybe structure your shows a lot better than what you did. Also, Sony don't have two. Like, you can't have Gustavo Santaolalla guy play the Last of Us theme and then have some fuckwit play some samurai theme on a bamboo. What are you doing? Anyway, E3 2018, pretty cool. This is not the best E3.
No, not by a long
Can I
shot.
ask? Can I ask you something?
Okay.
The best E3, it's one of two of them. I think there's the one where Sony unveiled the Final Fantasy remake, and they unveiled Shenmue, and they unveiled like Death Stranding or something. They had like 3 giant games. That was a really good one, I recall, because Xbox had a really strong showing that year, and Sony had a stronger showing. But there's also the showcase where they were introducing the new consoles, and Xbox shat the bed, and Sony basically won this generation from the get-go. Which one of those is the better E3, do you think? Which one do you think is the best one?
The one where Reggie fights. Yeah. That one.
Okay. I'll cop it. That's fair.
That is literally the greatest moment in all of E3, period.
All right. Just before we end this, I'm wondering, have you been playing any interesting games recently?
I've actually been playing Warframe.
Is it good?
I put like let me check my Steam. So I've put where is it? Here we go. 29 hours into the game,
Okay.
and I have not paid a single cent.
Well, that's good by default then, isn't it?
It's a free game that you can download. It's a lot of fun. And while it does have microtransactions, the fact that I was able to play through the game for nearly 30 hours and not feel the need to put any money into it, I think that says a lot.
All right then. I've been playing Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. That's a really interesting game.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one of the weirder entries, which is saying a lot for that series.
There's so much game to it. Like, it's like, was it a PSP or a PS Vita game?
PSP.
I think it was yeah. My God, it's dense with content for a PSP game.
There's
and it's
even a Monster Hunter level in it.
Yeah, and it's an interesting showcase of what would happen if a developer had to create a game for a smaller console the next time around. Because this was originally Metal Gear Solid 5. So yeah. I've been playing it. It's interesting. It's not the best one in the series, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a prototype of sorts, if you want to think about it, for 5.
Yes, that it was. Like how the stories are structured, how the weapon unlocks, the mother base stuff, all of it really came from this game.
Yes.
So if the way to think about it, if the people listening haven't played it, think Metal Gear Solid 5 but on a PlayStation 1. And you get the idea. And a PlayStation 2 maybe. And you get the idea.
Yeah, the PSP was kind of like a weird in-between in terms of like its capabilities of like the PS1 and the PS2.
Yeah.
It was like, it was definitely stronger than the PS1, but not quite as strong as a PS2.
Also, it didn't have two analog sticks.
Yeah, it only had that nub. And I always ignored it. I always just, whenever I played PSP, like, I would always try to play with the D-pad unless the game, like, literally forced me to use the nub.
Okay, that's interesting. I would have wanted another nub.
Well, that's what they did with the Vita.
Yeah, I didn't buy the Vita. You can't half-ass a handheld. I'm not gonna buy this shit to play 2 indie games a year. Get that out of my face.
Well, what's sad for me is I bought the Vita just so I could play East Celceta, and then they announced a PC version, so yeah.
Of course. I feel bad for the people who bought a Vita for, like, Ken Levine came on stage, BioShock for the Vita, baby. I feel bad for those people. Because that game never arrived.
No, it did not. All right.
And apparently it was like a Final Fantasy. Whatever. This is good. I'm very happy that we lost. I'm kind of happy we lost that hour of footage because it was just us kind of meandering around games we didn't really care about.
Yeah, we were able to cut to the good stuff.
All in all, Capcom wins E3.
Yes.
Otherwise, maybe like Xbox or Bethesda. None of this really matters. Don't take it that seriously.
Yeah, for real.
We didn't see anything for Shenmue.
No, but that's probably for the best. I mean, last time they showed us something, it was not good.
Yeah, it looked really unfinished.
So, let's wait for them to finish the fucking game.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy and you join us next year if we decide to do this again on the Aesir and Shintai. What did I say? E3 Extravaganza.
Yes.
Yes.
And
that's the name of this.
If you will have me again, I will definitely join.
See, I think we'll do this next year if we are both able to actually watch E3, because it's kind of a fluke that I was able to actually watch this. Usually I kind of just watch the trailers as they dole out over the week. But if we're able to do this again next year, we definitely will, because this has been fun.
Awesome.
I'm thinking of an interesting way to sign off. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hopefully we'll see you next year. Bye-bye.
Take care.